G'day guys and girls, welcome back to another devlog. This is going to be a bit of an update from the last two videos. So I made those like 2 years ago. Heaps has happened since then. I moved states a couple times, started doing some freelance work, finished my first collaborative animation for the Endless Engines competition. My general knowledge has increased a fair bit since last time, I suppose it's safe to say. But I still have heaps to learn. And we've progressed a fair bit on the animation. So in this episode, we're going to talk to you about the environment design, which is what we're doing. Last episode, I wrote the scripts and did the storyboarding. And so today you can see me right now in the background doing a bit of animation work. So since the last video, I've worked heaps on the project. I've got, in the last, probably about a year ago, I rewrote the whole script, hopped straight into the 3D side, and that's kind of where this is. It was recorded quite a while ago, a couple of years now, about a year and a half ago. So here I'm just making the environment. I started off with the tunnel, and then I wanted to have a bit of, you can see here what the tunnel ended up looking like once I was done at that stage, like a bit of previs. And then I was just setting out the whole animation. So you can see here I'm making the design that goes later on, so the whole desert space. It was a very enjoyable process. I really enjoyed this part. It was just kind of blocking out the scene. It's something that, honestly, seeing for the first time once I'd done, like just after this bit, was one of the most satisfying things in my life. I had wanted this project done. I'd seen it for ages, like in my head. But to see it in real life actually come to realization, to see this scene blocked out, to have some basic lighting, to see all this done, it was incredible. Yeah, the vision in my head that had been there for like years, seeing it realized was amazing. And you can see here I'm starting to do a few of the like renders. And it was just so satisfying to see this scene I'd pictured. This is like the power shot. It's what I want to be the most iconic shot from the first sequence. And so being able to see it here pretty much like in a basic form was really, really just so satisfying. So after I finished kind of this basic blocking out, which I really encourage you to do, because if you block out the scene pretty early on, it helps with that motivation. Sometimes it's really difficult when you're writing a script, when you're doing storyboarding, when you're trying to figure out the story, when you're trying to figure out the character design. All these things, they're fun, but they can be a bit tiring when you're not seeing progress. So being able to see the story that you want and the progress that you want is a really enjoyable part of the process. I think it adds a lot of motivation. And so blocking out the scene, it allows you to realize what it's missing. You can see I changed the composition quite a bit throughout the process, and that's really what it is. It's composition, just setting out composition, setting out camera shots, and trying to figure out what you need to complete the whole animation. So, and I go a little bit too far into the details at times, but yeah, that would be my recommendation for what you should do. So after I finished kind of this basic blocking out, you can see I've already got some details in the tunnel, but I actually added a fair bit more to the tunnel, and yeah, honestly, I was super happy with it. As you can see here, there's a little bit of realism to it, but then you'll kind of see that I'm changing up the composition a bit, and I change a lot of stuff as we go. So it's just part of the process. When you're blocking out a scene, you'll see that original thing, you're really happy with it, and then you'll let it sit for a couple days, and you'll go, actually, it's just not, something's wrong with it. So here you can see I'm pulling out that design. I've made it a lot more stylized. It's not the way that I've kept it. I've gone back to a bit of a more realistic thing actually, but I wanted to change the design, going straight from the power shot being like a center structure with a little town at the bottom, and changing that to like a rule of third structure where the building is kind of in like that right third, and it just added so much more impact to the scene. It allows the contrast of the tiny person on the left where the motorcycle is there to contrast with the live structure on the right. It gives your eye just a really beautiful like path to observe. So even with, like, I'm building the petrol station here, but even with the cords running, or they're actually refuel lines in the story, even with those lines running from that center structure to the little petrol station, it kind of guides your eyes from this big structure, which is probably the first thing you'll look at, guides it back into the man on the motorcycle or the woman on the motorcycle in the front of the scene. So it was really a big change to something that's kind of small in the grand scheme of things. Other people won't know, but it makes a big change to the overall feeling of the scene, and that was something that I was really trying to focus on with this animation. It's my first animation at the point that I'm here. I've done one since, but at the point that I'm modeling it, it's the first animation I've done, and I was really focusing on trying to evoke a feeling, trying to tell a story, and I wanted to do that through the visual process. So here I'm just making a little petrol station, because for the story, I thought I'd change it up where instead of it was gathering power, I thought it would be better if it was gathering fuel. So I built a little petrol station there and just detailed it out a bit, and you can see here, it just it makes a lot more sense to the story, I think. So I decided to look up some reference photos of like an American diner, and then it's kind of the style that I'm going for here. So I've got that like 50s diner, the rounded edges, the very iconic look. If you want to see a bit of a spoiler as to where the world's kind of up to and the kind of changes I've made, then you can kind of see a full animation. Go out my Instagram or my website or whatever you want to check out. So thank you so much for watching this devlog. You'll see a couple renders in a second of where we got up to at this stage in time. We still have more in the future, but at the point of recording, this was where I got up to. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and see you guys in the next devlog, all about the motorbike.